Kia ora team, Coach Kumi here from 64TS, bringing you the breakdown from the CrossFit Open workout 23.1. It is a repeat workout, 14.4, and we're actually lucky enough to have done the workout in the last 2 or 3 weeks. We have a lot of good information here. We've just seen the live announcement, and I think that the first thing that's really cool is we've seen the growth of the sport of CrossFit from the 9-year ago mark of 2014 versus now being 2023. Some unbelievable scores. I think the first thing to identify is that there's some really outlier scores there. Lazar Dukic is one of the fittest men on earth, and the capacity of this man in this workout was outstanding. It was a wonderful watch, and it's not necessarily the game plan that we should take on for the rest of us. However, there are multiple pathways about breaking this workout down for yourself, and this is the tips and tricks of how you should get there. First of all, if you're an athlete that is borderline getting your first ring muscle ups, or maybe sometimes can, sometimes can't, on a good day you will type thing, this is your opportunity to use the power of the open to be able to get either your first one or start stringing some consistent ring muscle ups together. Now, I'm going to jump ahead to the ring muscle ups portion in this workout before coming back and digesting the rest of it. But it's almost as important, well, it's even more so important for that type of athlete on how you get to the ring muscle ups and not just getting to the ring muscle ups. So if you're doing the CrossFit Open and you're looking at doing the RX version and you are not so confident with the ring muscle ups, by all means you're going to push the earlier parts of the workout to get a better tie break time by the time you get to the ring muscle ups. But if you may be slightly confident that you could potentially get your first ring muscle up, we're going to slow all of that down to give us a more beneficial chance at getting at least one single ring muscle ups, because guess what? The person that gets one single ring muscle up but gets there 3 minutes after the person that gets there 3 minutes earlier and doesn't get one gets a better score. Okay? I want us to think about this workout, even if you're going to get back to the rowing machine on the next round or into the toaster bar. I want us to think about this workout in terms of saving energy, not time. So it's not about how fast we're going, it's about how much energy or structural damage that we're taking on during the workout. If you're extremely competent with your capacity and then also your high skill gymnastics movements, then we might be rowing faster at the start. I'm going to break down this workout from row, toaster bar, wall balls, power cleans, and ring muscle ups, and then we'll figure out who will kind of drop in to which portion of that movement. Now for the rowing machine, if you are very competent at all of these movements per se, you're going to be looking at doing 14 to 1500 calories per hour. You're going to be looking at a male to finish the row somewhere between about 2 minutes 10 to 2 minutes 30, and a female somewhere between about 2:35 to 3:30. Now that's quite a discrepant time frame there, but again, if you're not doing great ring muscle ups, you are not rowing down at that lower end. So that'll be kind of 22 calories per hour. That's a very fast rate. We would recommend to sit somewhere between about 1050 to 1100 for a competent ring muscle up athlete. You can make up so much time in your transitions in the workout, also in between the rest times of sets in the workout. So something that we talk about is moving off the ball. How can I advance my workout forward without getting a rep on the board? Well, moving from the rowing machine to the toaster bar 3 seconds faster than the walk means I can probably have one extra break on the toaster bar that would account for that transition time. Okay, so something to think about there. Fast transitions don't necessarily mean the best workout either. So working out slower as you're working would identify a time where you should transition faster. However, if you're working out faster on a certain implement or an exercise, you'd probably want to transition slower. Again, if you get to that ring muscle up and you jump up too early and you don't get a rep, it's cost you the time in which it took for your transition, the time in which it took you to perform a failed rep. You lose the confidence and morale for the next rep, and you have to take a longer break before you can decide if I can actually make the next rep. So it's about a 30 to 40 second loss of time just for a poor decision, where perhaps if you waited 10 seconds longer, you'd have one in the bank and 30 seconds up your sleeve, which is a far better outcome. This is a workout that you really want to have a bit of integrity and accountability through the workout, and I think that it's probably more so important that you have either a coach or a trusted person in your circle that is with you during the workout, and that's going to hold you accountable. Not someone that's going to push you and say go, we need to work faster, we need to work faster. Probably someone that's actually going to say come down off that now, slow down a little bit, And if you look at the open announcement, you can see Lazar Dukic, and in his post-match interview, he said, I probably should have done what my coach said, slowed down my row from the beginning, broke up my toaster bar a little bit more, and he got an unbelievable score. So someone that gets a great score and could be better, there's a lot of things to learn in that scenario. So for the rest of the world out there, I think that this is a great opportunity just to take that on board and really learn the learnings from what we've just seen. Break down your toaster bar, okay? I want to see no one in 2 sets unless you're having a really decent break in between. I think that's just, I think it's too early in the workout to be pushing for something so large. I think that we should be seeing 4 sets or more from even adequate athletes. So if you're very good at this, 15, 15, 10 and 10, you could go down as low as 5 sets of 10. If you're someone who really might get to the 40 total bar mark and then start doing singles or breaking them, now that we're really pushing down the line here, I think it's not a bad idea to do singles from the beginning. I really don't. I think that you get a lot of value jumping into the bar, getting that additional swing per rep. You save a lot of tension on the abs from when you don't have to recycle and break the tension from the kipping swing. So singles aren't a bad idea. You have to keep yourself accountable because the numbers of that could seem like forever. You've just got to trust that you're going to eventually make your way through it. Then when you get past the toaster bar, I think that the wall balls would be a bigger set for you. Toaster bar, you could do 10 sets of 5 and have really minimal breaks, jump down, shake out, jump back up, and you could finish on the same amount of score as someone that went 20, 15, 10 and 5 if that made up to 50. So it's not necessarily about how much you're working when you're working, it's about mitigating the break time in between, and also we're thinking about saving the energy for the next implement. We just seen some of the athletes go between 4 and 4.5 minutes completion of 60 calorie row and 50 toaster bar. That's a lot of work capacity squeezed into a very short amount of time. And it's probably a little bit unnecessary because you've seen that they probably added on a minute's worth of ring muscle ups unnecessarily when they got there. So if we spread out another 30 seconds earlier on in the piece, I believe that we're going to have 30 seconds worth of a better controlled heart rate at the end of the workout or during those ring muscle ups when it's probably more applicable to save on our no reps or getting the achievement of the rep itself. Moving forward to the wall balls, 40 reps is not a large amount of wall balls in a given workout in today's CrossFit. Yes, it's going to damage and tax the shoulders somewhat. It's going to take a little bit of juice out of the quads, not so much as the shoulders. You are going to need their shoulders for the lockout and the ring muscle ups. I think it's very important that we are cycling and recoiling the ball into the chest as we are recycling to push it back up and not just keeping our hands above our head and taking a stiff catch every single time and creating that impact or ground shock, for lack of a better term, into the triceps, the biceps and the shoulder, because you're going to need that for the lockout of the ring muscle up when you get there. So really look at recoil, cycle away. And I think you should break them up. Even if you can do 40 wall balls competently and fast, nice and easy, break them up either 20-10-10, 20-20, 30-10, something like that. But it's also not a bad idea to do, say, 5 sets of 8 for those that are still looking at getting to the ring muscle ups with some juice in the tank, or even 4 sets of 10. I think that's pretty manageable. When you get to the power cleans, if you have the ability in your gym with your equipment, dead plates. Okay, so dead plates are Olympic lifting plates with big heavy metal rings on the inside of the rubber outer circle of the plate. And what this means is that when you drop the bar, because we're looking at doing singles, the bar's not going to bounce all over the show. Okay, if you have bouncy bumper plates, you could be bouncing your bar from left to right, walking around. If you've got other people around you, you might be shifting the bar back to your center, wasting energy on that. Your clips have a higher potential to bounce out. You're going to re-clip your barbell. I think that it's a wise idea, if you have the ability and potential within your gym, to use dead stop plates for your power cleans. Now, of course, at this point, we're looking at singles. We don't want to take away from our grip fatigue. We've just done 110 calories or toaster bar that have taken somewhat of our grip. And we're about to get to a next portion in the workout, which is going to do that again. So touch and go, I don't think is the most wise idea. Singles, but think of it as cluster sets. So cluster 5 or 6 singles together, hit them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, step back from the bar, take your breath, take your time. Maybe it's 5-10 second break, you come back forward and you repeat that sequence. Couple of benefits here. One, obviously we're doing singles, but we're treating it like a touch and go set. Okay, and then they could potentially be faster, especially recycling or getting back to the bar to perform the next set than someone that does 5 touch and go, has a longer break, and then 5 touch and go. You might be on your 6th rep, even having stepped away and come back before they start their 6th rep, okay? We're thinking about energy in the tank. We're not thinking so much about time on the clock. With those cluster sets, you're also getting a really great opportunity at getting mini goals and mini micro breakdowns of the workout. You're not looking at 30 reps. If you just get in there and say, hey, I'm going to just perform my 30 reps, singles the whole way, smooth and fast singles. I know that's a big term. And you get to 14, you're like, man, this is just taking forever. I'm only halfway. I'm now at 20. I've still got 10. When you look at cluster sets of 5 and 6, you're only looking at that number. And so you get to 3, you're like, cool, I've only got 3 more. Or you get to 4, I've only got 2. Or maybe it's a set of 5, I've only got 1 to go. Maybe you do these in cluster sets of 3 if you want to save the energy for the ring muscle ups. Everyone can do a cluster set of 3. When you perform 3 of those sets of 5 or 6, you're already over halfway, but you're not looking at a set of 12. You're looking at only really 2 sets to go, because it's only 2 sets of 6. So I think that that's a great mindset trick to play. And you maybe you're in a better position that you can cluster set of 10, you can cluster set of 12. But I think that it's really important to, when you work on that, step back and have that allocated time for that, and then come back forth and go into it again. Now here's a bit more of an advanced tip. I wouldn't recommend, if I'm coaching this in class, this is different to what I want to see on game day and as a performance. So don't read too far into this, don't curse me out for it. But for athletes that are very adequate and know how to Olympic lift, that know how to move a barbell, you know, you've got a male that power cleans 140 kilos plus, maybe a female is doing 80 kilos plus. The weight on the barbell in the workout isn't heavy. So what you can do is you can compromise your spine somewhat in the setup position by not having set up with immaculate tension. I'm not saying round over like a dog doing a poo in the woods, but you don't have to set up with immaculate tension through your spine, because it's not going to compromise your health and your safety. But what it will do is it will allow you to breathe. So breathing at this point in the workout, you would probably sooner sacrifice than tension in the workout, because when you're tight, you can't breathe, and you only want oxygen in at this point. One, your aim here is to get really good oxygen in, and you're trying to give red blood cells to your muscles, and you're also trying to clear bad lactate or bad metabolite from the muscle, which is going to be help with breathing. If you want to test this out, put a belt on. Belt up during the workout, and I can guarantee you that at some point during those cleans, you're probably going to take that belt off because you can't breathe, and that's the reason why you'd want to take it off. Again, I'm not saying not to set up with tension. I'm just saying that it doesn't have to be as if you're going to lift your 1 rep max and you've had a 10-minute window to breathe and stay fresh. That's all. Moving forth to your ring muscle ups, this is very critical in the workout. Again, if you don't think you're going to get any, get here as fast as you can, so you're going to speed that first portion up, and by all means still have a crack, absolutely. If you are going to get some and you're on that fringe of just getting some, every rep matters. Do not go up unless you have full intention of giving 100% effort, okay? It's not smart to fail and miss and then come down 10 seconds later, go back up. It doesn't matter. Again, at this point, disregard the clock. Unless you're inside of the last 10 seconds of the clock, it's only going to take you about that time to get up, have a couple of swings and go for the rep itself and get a lockout. Don't waste that clock. Again, if you rush up at 40 seconds to go and that's the only amount of time you've got, but you jump up straight away and you fail the rep, you're probably likely not going to get that other rep inside of that time. Use that time, just be smart. I'd rather have 30 seconds and put more probability in behind that rep to getting it in the last 10 seconds than prior to that. Again, we're going back to the elite level athlete in this workout. I'm sorry to be jumping all over the place, but the elite level athlete in this workout, I don't think that it's smart to do more than say 25 to 30% of your maximum potential of ring muscle ups for one unbroken set when you are fresh. Example, if I can do 30 ring muscle ups, or we'll take a better number, 20 ring muscle ups unbroken, I'm probably looking at doing sets of 5, 5, 5, 5. Now we've seen someone like BKG go down to 3s. We've seen some of the earlier athletes do singles, we've seen them fail reps, and these were competent athletes. So I don't think that it's more important, I don't think that it's necessary to try and think a big set and chop it down. I think start around that 25% marker, unless you're only at a set of 2 or 3, every rep matters at that point. at that point, you are looking at cutting down your rest time as opposed to extending your rep range. Now, if you start at 10 and you say, cool, I've only got 10 to go, well, the likelihood of you getting 50% on that next set is very unlikely. And it can really mess with your mental about how you're going to break down those reps. And you could potentially go from 10 to 3 to 2 to 1 to fail to 1 to 2, and it just be a real kind of shit show to finish that off. Start smaller, and you can always bang out a bigger set to finish at the end if it were there for you. If not, stay on that pathway, stay on the trajectory. Maybe you're thinking 5, 5, and then breaking it up from 10, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 3. Have a little bit of a plan on the lighter side of things, and have the integrity, have the ability to be able to move off of that and change what you're doing in real time. And again, if you've got a really trustworthy coach or support person to hold you accountable, they'll keep you in that calm state to be able to do so as well. There's all the potential in the world that you can finish those ring muscle ups inside of 11 or 12 minutes, which is going to give you a lot of time on the rowing machine. Within our program in the last 3 weeks, we've seen athletes complete the row and make it back to the toaster bar. So I think that it's very possible for a lot of you out there to do so. Again, 2014 is a gauge and a marker, but the needle was shifted from there for what the capability is. When you get back to that last rower, if you're inside of 2 minutes, you're probably not going to get back to the toaster bar. Hell for leather. You're going to pull as hard as you can, but you're going to increase it. Again, make those little mini markers. Have the ability to have workout IQ and identify a clock. If you go 2 minutes max from the beginning, you're probably going to drop off at about 40 seconds in and have a real hard time for the last 1 minute 20. Look at it at different stages. Go for 30 seconds at 80% of your current situation and what you feel. So perceived effort. And then maybe in the next 30 seconds, you try to go up to 85% of perceived effort. Maybe 85% is now currently your 80%. So have a little plan of like, can I build in pace rather than I'm just going to go top to bottom and see what happens. I think unless you're inside of 30, 40 seconds and you get to the rowing machine, don't go as hard as you can from the beginning. We finish the row, we get back to the toaster bar. By that point, it's really play eyes up, what's in front of you. There's no game plan for this part. It's really what's available at the time, and probably squeezing as much juice out of the workout as you can. I believe that there's going to be a lot of people that get through to this point, either get to the row or complete the rower. I think it's going to be a really cool time for CrossFit. I think that a 9-year gap for a repeat of a workout is really cool, especially one that has mild complexity to it, with a bunch of monostructural gymnastics movements and even weightlifting in there. I think it's a bit different to doing something like 7 minutes of burpees, where it's probably pretty close to understanding what the scores are already. So if you're out there, I hope these tips help. I hope these tricks help. See our warm-ups, our breakdowns, our strategies, also our blood flow and how to perform the workout there. It's all there for you, and hopefully this helps you. Good luck with the CrossFit Open for 2023. This is the workout 1, and we'll see you next week in workout 2. Cheers. Dive right in, let's go. No more than dip in your toes. Let the rhythm take control. It's going down tonight.